Hello everyone, my name is Ash, my pronouns are they, he, and I'm back here with a little video about my latest stationery purchase that I did for my birthday, which was last weekend, the 8th of February. And it was my first time ordering with a specific shop, Stilo Stile. And I might be mispronouncing that, by the way. I believe it's an Italian shop. But I got a few goodies here that I saved up for so I could treat myself to a thing or two that I've wanted for a while now. So we have paper stuff, ink stuff, and pens. So let's get to it. I will also be making a video still with an update of my journal so far, but I already filmed something and didn't really like how it turned out, so I will be redoing that, and it's happening, don't worry. If you're not new here, you might want to look forward to that. So I got some ink. Not a lot, just a little bit. I'm thinking if I should pull out the other thing I got recently, and I think I will. Give me a moment. Of course, it's in the last place I look. 1 second. Alright, there we go. These are some things I got earlier last week that they didn't have in stock, so we'll take that into consideration here as well. I also have another package that I might do a separate video on, now that I think about it, because this is probably going to be plenty. But to give a little sneak peek, is there a brand on here? Yes. It's a, it's a minimal desk top stuff. Is that right? Doesn't matter. We're not going to look at that today, but it's like a productivity stationery stuff. Just something I have on my desk that I thought, should I do that right now? No, we're not gonna do that right now. We have ink related stuff here, some paper ink related stuff here. These are some Wearingeul things. We have ink, more ink. This is an ink muddler, or like a dip pen kind of thing. Then we have a Rhodia dot book. Yeah, just some paper, which is easily removable with perforated edges. So that's nice. I've never tried Rhodia before, so I decided to get one while I was at it. And then we have not one, but two Opus88 pens to look at. We'll leave the pens for last, I think. Those are the holy grail of this video. The pens that I've been drooling about for about a year now, since I laid eyes on them. Alright. Those are the things we'll be looking at. I think I'll start with the separate package that I got. I got a Dominant Industry package. These are both from the same brand, Dominant Industry. I got them from, I believe it's Akkerman Amsterdam, or Akkerman Amsterdam, as you guys would probably call it if you're not Dutch. And this is the glass ink muddler and the painter series Fisherman at Sea. No, let's take this one out of the box first so I can show you. My cat is upset that he's not allowed in the room. It came in this thing inside a box. I have already tried it out a little bit, but I wanted to show you again. this is what's inside it. It comes with a little plastic thingy to protect the tip. There we go. It's very small. When I saw this box, I didn't think it would be half the size. I thought it would be this size. It was also hard to tell the size on the pictures I saw online. So I would say this is probably slightly too small in my opinion for like ease of writing with, if I wanted to write with it real quick. Like I could, this would not be comfortable for long. I don't think you should or would be writing with it for long, but it's just a glass dip pen basically. And I wanted this one because it's easier to clean than my metal dip pens. And you can do both a writing sample on one end and this one, and it's quite nice for doing larger swatches. So that's what that is. Putting that back on there. I'm leaving this in the box for now. Putting that aside. And then these usually come, as far as I've been able to tell, with a little pouch. And then you have your ink. And it also comes with a little eyedropper. And I already opened it up to swatch, which I can show you. Oh boy. It's a good thing there's no water in my little paint thingy, because it fell right on there. So it's over here. This is the swatch done with the ink muddler, this one. So here I just did like this, and then the writing is also done with this. That's what this ink looks like. I have been wanting this ink for a while. It was continuously out of stock with my local pen and ink shop that I usually buy from. And then it was also out of stock on the Italian shop. So I decided to just order it from a different shop than I usually buy from. I have bought from Akkerman Amsterdam a couple of times now. Just gonna squeeze this in here as well so it doesn't roll off the desk. In fact, all of my Galen letter stuff comes from there, so my everyday book and my letter covers from them. So I would recommend them if you're local, but most of the time I buy from other shops like 24 Paper Shop or Pen Store. But the things that I was interested in today, except for maybe a few of them, were not available elsewhere than where I got them this time. So the other ink we got is a Italian ink, Leonardo Officina, Nos Moscata, a brown nutmeg ink. I really like this box. This is just folded cardboard. It's a very interesting design. It has a 40 milliliter inside, high quality ink, and it's a brown shade according to them. On the website it looked more like a red brown, and I just think that this is so clever for like an opening and closing mechanism. I have not swatched this yet because this order literally arrived today. And I ordered plenty of stuff that I could get the fast shipping. So I ordered this on Saturday evening, I think. Yes. And then it got shipped on Monday and it arrived on Tuesday. So this is what it looks like up close. It's gonna be a little bit blurry, I think, if I hold it up. So yeah, apparently nutmeg translates to nos moscata, which makes sense to me because in Dutch nutmeg is called nootmuskaat, so sounds similar enough. It's got a nice reddish tint to it in the bottle, and if you don't know, I'm an absolute sucker for red and brown ings, so I'm very excited about this one. So we got 2 inks. I'm gonna leave this one out. Bottled inks, and then I got some cartridges to try out of inks that I think I'll like, but didn't want to commit to a bottle yet. And I saw they were available in cartridges, so I wanted to try those. We have Pelican, Brilliant Brown, and Platinum Carbon Black. Now, I do believe I have pens that can use these cartridges. I think, at least. I'm not sure. But what I can just do is pop the cartridge open and then use a syringe to switch it to a different pen. So that's what I am planning to do with these. Yeah. I might try. Actually, I don't think it would fit. I was thinking maybe I can fit them in a Queco, but I don't think that would fit. So that's what I'm planning to do, at least. Open them up and then transfer the ink. So we'll see how well it goes or not. But I saw pictures of this brown and I really liked it, but I have a lot of brown ink at the moment. And then I wanted that one really badly, because most of my browns are very ochre brown, like a mid yellowish orange brown, and I really wanted some reddish browns. And then this is a waterproof ink, so I figured that would be interesting to try out as well. I'm trying to think, do I have something? So before we go into the next thing, I want to show you 2 different ways I currently swatch my inks. My previous method was having 2 swatch books, a Hobonichi. This one has Tomoe River paper in it, and it's currently not in the cover for some reason. Just putting that back real quick. And a Midori notebook. And what I did was just have little swatch pages like this. But this is a very different paper and paper color than I usually use. And I'm honestly not that much of a fan of this paper color. Even though it behaves very well with fountain pen inks. So I don't use this a lot. I haven't swatched most of my latest inks yet, I believe, in that one. And then the Tomoe River paper is what I use in most of my notebooks at the moment. So I have swatches in there as well, like so. And then I have it set up in different sections. So this one I compare my blacks, my greens, and my blues, and so forth, and so forth. And then here's some infant stuff that I did for last December, and here's some of my pen tests. So when I get new pens, I usually do that in here. See how it worked, write about that kind of stuff. So that's how I kind of do it still-ish, but there's pros and cons to this. It's nice to see how it performs on the paper that I use, and what the qualities are of the ink on different papers. But if I want to compare inks, this is not that convenient. So last year I got these Wearingeul swatch sheets with the circles on them. So I did them by color as well. And these are some reds, and then apparently I have more reds than browns. Although I would qualify some of these as pinks. Point being, I have a decent amount of some inks. Some of these are from the Inkvent calendar, so I only have very small bottles of them. And then some of them, like this one, is my own combination of ink and glitter. But yeah, this is how I also currently do it, to more compare different shades of the same color to another. And this is all nice and well and everything, but I kind of want this to function like this, so I decided to try a new method, which is what I ordered for today's video. We have Wearingeul swatch cards and their card book binder thing. So let's take this out of the plastic. And then we have these swatch cards, and I believe one of them, this one's still closed, one of them tore on the side, so I'll be opening this one. There we go. These are the horizontal ink color chips. They are, well, here's all the specifications that you might want on these. Same thing on the other side. And this is what they look like per card. There's just Wearingeul on the back, and then a little ink bottle, some dots, and a bunch of white space. Personally, I would have liked it better if this little bottle was slightly bigger, but that's whatever, personal preference and all that. They also have ones that are vertical like this, like a portrait layout with a bottle here and then a little bit space there, or what do you call it, like a Polaroid type frame, that's the word I was looking for, with some ink projecting substance on the borders and then a little section underneath to write on. But I thought this would be most convenient because it's the horizontal layout. And then this is the binder itself, which comes with stickers apparently. Just some labels. They are kind of glossy, so I don't think you can write on them with finer pens, rather permanent markers or something like that. They're not horrible, they're kind of like neutral colored, but I don't think I would be very inclined to use them in all honesty. We'll see. It's nice that it comes with it in any case. As far as I understand it, this has 40 sheets of 3 pockets each. And they open from the inside on both sides. That's nice. Alright, I was wondering about that because I couldn't really find a lot of information on these. I thought it was just a one side pocket, but it seems they are on both sides. So that's probably more convenient than my solution would have been. So they have 40 sheets of 3 slots, but if you double them up, that becomes twice as many. So you're looking at around 240 card slots, if my math is mathing correctly. So what you could do is take your cards, you put some ink on them, and then you slot them in like so. And this is what it would look like on the other side, but you can also do it here. And then you can just keep your swatches in like one place, like collect them in one place, and then if you want to compare them to a specific other shade, you can take them out, which might not always be as easy to do. It's kind of hard to get your fingers in there. Take them out, go to a different page, look at them side by side. Just feels very convenient to me that way. And it's a nice compact binder for this sort of thing. So I think this will be very convenient to use. This is what it would look like without the stickers in the way. Now I'm not sure how well this will hold up with the plastic. So we'll have to see about that. Maybe if it doesn't hold up very well, I'll just use a little plastic, or not plastic, like an elastic band, or maybe I'll make something for it. Who knows? We'll see about that. I'm always a bit worried about these plastic folded pieces. So either way, it looks nice. I'm looking forward to swatch all of my inks and put them in a binder and color code them and everything. I think we will swatch these two inks that I have here, and then see how that looks on this paper, how the paper behaves. But I got plenty of these cards now. I was thinking maybe I'll just put them in the binder, and then take one out as I need it, but with how, I was going to say how easy, but it wasn't quite that easy, exactly the point, what I was trying to say. With how not very easy it is to take them out of the pockets, I think I will not be just filling it up with cards ahead of time. So I'm just putting these back in. So put this aside, but that's what this little Wearingeul swatch binder folder is with cards. We'll do the swatching in a bit. So the Rhodia dot book is a 80 detachable micro-perforated, not punched sheets of paper with dot ruling, hard-wearing, waterproof coated cover. It's a nice, sturdy cover, but not too inflexible. 80-gram paper, which is white, satin finish, and the size is 16 by 21 centimeters, or 6.3 by 8.3 inches. There we go. Which it also says on the back, in case you remove this part, it will just still have all the information, relevant information on the back. Made in France. The reason I decided to get some Rhodia paper is, as I said before, I've never tried Rhodia before. So I was curious how it performs. I hear it's not that great with sheen. But I use a lot of Leuchtturm paper, and these are much more affordable notebooks. So I was curious how it did, especially since I heard some people say it worked quite well with their parallel pens. And I have a couple of those, so I wanted to see if I could use this for my calligraphy practice or swatching. So I decided to just get one of these spiral bound ones so I could easily fold it over when I wanted to practice. And I chose the dot grid to still have some guideline. I was debating to get a square grid, which I do tend to kind of prefer depending on how dark the ruling is. But apparently I did not get the grid one, which is fine. I also have a lot of dot grid. It's just that with calligraphy it's nice to have some kind of ruling to orient your lines on. So that's gonna be fun to try out in this one. And then we have the special treat that I got myself for my birthday specifically. All the other things were just if I'm gonna be ordering anyway. Let me see. So I have two of these because I was gonna get one, and then I thought, you know, I have the money saved up, I might as well get both of them. This is the one that I've been wanting and drooling over for absolutely the moment I saw it, and had decided to get for my birthday. And then this is the one that I decided, while I'm at it, I'll just get this one too. So we're doing that one first. This is a very nice box. It's very sturdy paper, like a cardboard. It has just a brand on the top, nothing on the side except for here. This is the Demo Flex in an F, and it says Flex, but that, as far as I understand, is not technically correct. It's like a steel nib that is not technically a flex nib, but advertised as a flex nib, but it doesn't actually flex, as far as I've been told. But they call it like a flex nib. Some other people say it's a soft steel nib. You'll see in a moment. It comes with a little book. This side is in Korean, I think, and then this part is in English. It's an eyedropper system fountain pen, and it explains to you how to operate the pen in this little infographic, which is pretty straightforward. This side has it in English. So that's a nifty little booklet. And then we have a little eyedropper to fill your pen with, because it's an eyedropper filler. A little extra O-ring. Interesting. And the pen itself, I doubt there's anything underneath it, but let's check. Either way, there is not. It's a nice box. I might be tempted to just use it for like pen related things, but not yet. I also still have my Twisby boxes, and I keep thinking, am I going to keep them or am I going to get rid of them? But I haven't done anything with those yet either. So putting that aside, with the paper. This is the Opus88 demonstrator. It's a nice clear body edition. They also have some special editions with weird colors, like pinks with purples and blues, and a green with a yellowish green and a blue, I believe. And they look interesting, but not really my cup of tea. This clip is like a nice matte metal. Feels very, very nice. It's like a glossy pen, but not too slippery. These parts are very clear, and then these are slightly frosted on the inside, it looks like. I think this is a very attractive pen. It's definitely a little bit big compared to some other pens that I've seen and had. I can show you a comparison in a moment. Alright, so it's close, so it's 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more than 3, or maybe 3.5 turns to unscrew. That's not bad at all. So this is the Flex Fine nib according to the website. It has these cutouts on the nib that give it some more flexibility, more bounce. But as far as I know, it's not like a proper flex nib. But it writes with more line variation than a regular fine nib would, so I think this one writes more like a fine medium. Also, because it's an eyedropper, it tends to write a little bit wetter. It has an interesting sound. Interesting. So one of the things with these eyedroppers is there's this rod in the middle, and if you turn this knob on the back, you will retract the rod slightly so that the ink can go into this reservoir with the feet, and that's what supplies ink to your nib. So if you're traveling or not using it, if you close the valve, that ink that's in here can go in there, and therefore you will save yourself some ink. That's a very interesting sound. Kind of squeaky. Alright. This is all the way unscrewed and slightly pulled out. But I know with some other pens you only have to very slightly unscrew it for that rod to not touch the opening. So now it's closed, but just slightly undoing it is probably going to be enough. So we'll try it out in a bit. That's the demo in Flex Fine. And then here we have the one that I have been very excited about. It's the Jazz Holiday, which comes with the same stuff in the box, same box, but this is a Flex Extra Fine. And the Holiday specifically, so you have the Jazz model, which is this rounded pen body. But the Holiday specifically is entirely frosted and has a gunmetal look to it on the metal parts, whereas the regular Jazz, the clear one, has silver metal colored parts. So this one is just a bit more special. Also, the regular clear one has frosted body, but the caps are clear like the demo. We'll have a look at those side by side in a moment. And then this is the Flex Extra Fine nib. Same idea with the ink strip bar filling. I think I might want to put a little bit of silicone grease on these, because they are squeaky. Okay, I don't like that sound at all. I'll have to ask some people or look up some advice for that, because that's gonna drive me absolutely nuts. But if you want to fill these, you just unscrew it like you would most pens. This is where the O-ring goes, so you have a spare one in the box apparently. And it sits right on top of the threads. Don't lose that one. It's what keeps your ink secure inside the barrel and not leak out. You can also see the top of the rod in here. And this is where you would grab your ink dropper, fill it with ink, and then drip it in here, fill it up, close it up, and you're almost good to go as soon as the ink is fully in your feed and ready to write. I am absolutely in love with the frosted look of this pen. It's so nice. What made me fall in love with it is not just the fact that it's frosted, but all the pictures I've seen of it with colored ink inside just makes it look so much better. And that's also why I just in general love demonstrator pens. I like seeing the ink slosh around inside of there. So I'm just gonna put this aside for a moment. Take out this little thing here. I'm putting these on here so you can see them side by side. It is also completely messing up the light on my desk, I see. That's fine. I just want to compare it to some other pens I got so you have an idea for the size of this thing. So, we have a... I'll take out my colored version and not the black one because it's going to be more visible. This is a Lamy Safari in the color Mango. This was a limited edition. This is what it looks like next to these two. I should have a Twisby. Where's my Twisby? There's my Twisby. This is a Twisby Eco. And then we also have my Mahjong C4, which I was recommended to try out before getting the Opus pens because it has a similar filling mechanism and is a similar width in terms of thickness and nib size. So I'm just gonna put that besides here. It looks similar to the Jazz. It's just slightly smaller. Alright. I just figured it would be easier to see on this wooden background, but it looks kind of weird now. Maybe this helps. Sometimes cameras are so weird with color. I don't know. Anyway, this one is the C4. I have mine with a parallel pen nib unit inside of there. I hear it's quite popular to put these nibs in a Opus pen as well, but these are very expensive pens. These cost me around €100 each, which is why it was a birthday present. And then these C4 Mahjong C4s cost around $25, depending where you get them, how you get if you have any sales or not going on. I got these off AliExpress. I have two of them, and both of them have my parallel nibs inside. And that's why I wanted to get the Opus ones at first, because I don't find the parallel pens to have very comfortable grips. But I would rather not sacrifice a €100 pen to a parallel nib unit. Personally, if you do, that's fine. It's just not something I wanted to do. What else do I have? I have a Wearingeul 82, I believe it's called. Wait, let me take out the C4 again. I'll put it over here now. This is the 82 Wearingeul, and then I have, this is I believe a Mahjong A1, which is similar to the Pilot Capless by Decimo, I believe. So we can go even further. This is my Quacko Sport. Just so we also have a small comparison option. So this is just to give you a more of an idea of what the size is of these pens. I think the best comparison, TWSBI is quite popular nowadays. So if we uncap this TWSBI, this is what a Jowo nib in the size 5 looks like. It's doing the color thing good. Is this helping at all? I'll hope it does. So this is what a Jowo nib size 5 looks like. It's relatively small. Just as your average pen, I would say. If I uncap the demo, this is what a size 6 nib looks like compared to it. It's quite a chunky thing. And then the pen buddies, of course, also quite a difference. But I find these bigger pens to be actually quite a lot more comfortable to hold. And I would say the TWSBI also feels a little bit thicker than some other pens, but I don't know, something about this just feels more comfortable to how I hold my pen. And it's why I really enjoyed the C4 when I got it, even though I had never seen a very large pen like that before I got this one. And when you're used to these or these ones, this is a very small pen compared to this, like very thin. If you're used to this and then you take this chunker out of a box, it was quite a shock, let me tell you. But this feels so much comfortable to hold in so many ways. So that's why I was sold on getting an Opus pen after I got these. If you are on the fence about the size, do yourself a favor and get a Mahjong C4 to try out if you like the size as well as the filling mechanism, because it's the same principle. It also has a rod that you can open and close with this back section. This one does not squeak. It works the same way, essentially, but a lot more affordable. So there's that. Putting my pens back in their place. Alright. I'm just gonna go back to this over here. So I think what I want to do, I want to switch those two inks that I got and ink them in these two pens. I have not decided yet which one I want to do in which pen, so we'll decide once I have swatched them. And since I already took out some cards and left them in here. I'll just use those two. Alright. Got the ink muddler. And let's start with Fisherman at Sea. Just giving it a little shake in case there's any particles. Alright, if you can see that, I think this looks absolutely amazing, this shade. Oh boy. Alright, I'll start with the back end, and before I do, I want to grab a little piece of tissue to wipe it off afterwards. Alright. There we go. Just getting the remaining bits off. I really like this ink so much. Alright, this is a dominant industry. Fisherman at Sea. And I'll just do a little of this. What I also usually do is, what do you call it? Some symbol-y things. Alright, I think this is quite full. I could write quite a bit with just one dipping of this pen. That said, it does not bleed through on this instance. I would not say it was too wet of a swatch, but quite nice. It's kind of hard to show this shade off properly. It looks different to me than it does on the camera. So I'll probably make a picture of this and then insert it in the video to show you what it looks like proper. Yeah. So I'll have to clean this off. I did see some videos, I think, or was it pictures, where they had swatched a circle on it somehow, like just a ring, and I think that looked very nice. But I don't know how they did that, so I might want to experiment with it. This is also just an experiment. I have plenty of cards that I can just fuck around a little bit, see what I like, how I want to use these. One of the things I had an idea about was to cut out some paper from notebooks that I use a lot, and then stick them on these cards. So I have a strip of Rhodia and Tama River and Loiterm, for example, and then swatch across those as well to see what the different shade is on different paper. But that's one. Actually, I'm wondering, because this is white paper, if this makes a difference in what it looks like on the wood. I just got this at Action. I believe it's like a candle or decor display thingy. But that's not why I got it. Never hurts to have a little bit of extra space, and I am going to clean off that dip pen, get some water. Before using it again. And this has a very nice shade of green now. Alright, now opening up this Leonardo Officina Italiana. This is so nice. Sometimes I feel like I like the ink more in weird places. When I did paint with black and gold ink a couple of years ago, I used to have little swatch cards on the side where I would check if the color was right for what I wanted. And I ended up liking those more than the art I made sometimes. Not that the art was bad at all, but just something about it really tickles my brain in the right way. So I am very happy with this color. I can tell you that much. This is exactly what I hoped for. So you might not know, but one of my favorite inks is Diamine Ancient Copper, and it has just perfect. Alright, the alarm went off to feed my cats in a bit, so my video stopped recording. But I was saying about Ancient Copper. What I like about that ink is how red it is with like this orangey hue to it. It's just very satisfying to me, and this does a similar thing. It's like a orangey red brown. It's just very satisfying to me. Oh, don't throw it on the desk, Ash. It's not very convenient. Alright, just dipping in a little bit. Checking the box so I can copy the name correctly. This is a Leonardo Officina Italiana, and the color is Moscata brown or nutmeg. I seem to have better estimated the amount of ink I needed for this little swatch thing here, because it writes a lot nicer. Less wet helps, it seems. Now, I will say, seeing these colors together gives me major Christmas vibes, and I kind of hate Christmas. It's just not my holiday. I have my reasons. That said, I do really, really, really like these colors. Damn. Alright, so I was thinking at first I'll ink the green in the demo and then the brown in the jazz. but I think I will want to decide that after I swatch the pens themselves. The question is, what color am I going to swatch them with? I'll have to have a little think on that. 1 second. Alright, so I think it will be more likely that if I try them with the green, that it's going to badly affect the brown if I end up inking that up and not cleaning it out properly. So I think I'll try them with the brown ink on paper. I'll just use this one for that purpose, as I have done that in the past a few times. Just taking that box aside, and the cards, also double checking the cards. So let me see. They look very nice. Don't seem to be any feathering, although this one does look a little bit weird, which might be because the muddler was too wet. There is like a slight indentation, kind of. You can probably see the shadow there from where the ink pooled. It corresponds to where the swatches are, but no bleeding, so that's nice. I do have some other swatch paper as well from Wearingeul. These ones. It's like a pack 4-photo color swatch cards, and I like these. I typically, if I get multiple inks, I will swatch them and then put them in my journal. This is when I got my first Wearingeul ink order, so these are all Wearingeul inks, but these do bleed, I've noticed. It also seems to only be on the edges now that I look at it. This one was worse though. These were first press colors. I seem to have a theme of getting browns and reds at the same time, or browns and greens at the same time. Yeah, I just really like those colors, I guess. But these seem to be behaving better so far. Maybe it's just the way I was swatching them that's messing with the other ones. But I'm very pleased with this so far. And they are all fully dry quite quickly. So, taking my paper, I am going to need a clip, maybe 2. No, a smaller one. Of course I have that pen board here. I tend to use it behind there, just in case it does bleed through for whatever reason. Alright. There we go. Now, what I'm planning to do, I'm going to put this on first before I forget. Alright. I'm just going to be dipping the tip of the nib in here, which might be a little bit wet. We'll see. But I think that will be the best way to test the nib without fully inking it and having to clean it. Maybe that's enough. We'll see. How did I do that with the previous ones? Alright, that's easy enough. So we have a Opus88 Jazz Holiday and it's already out. Alright, Jazz Holiday in the Flex Extra Fine with Leonardo Vicina Italiana. Did I wrote that wrong? Nos Moscata. Alright. It writes well. So I'm not even pressing really. Just doing my usual swirlies. The paper's not really laying flat, which is annoying. Just moving that up a little bit. It does feel very smooth. I'm scared to press slightly harder to see if it does more line variation if I do. Usually you don't want to press too hard, but I would say first impression, it seems to write a little bit wider than an extra fine, and that's about it. Yes. Right, capping it. And about halfway I'm going to do this other one, which was the fine nib. Putting the cap on the bottle in case I accidentally knock it over. Right, so that's would be roughly around here. Stilo Opus 8 demonstrator with the Flex Fine just putting a line there because it's the same ink. This is just using the pen with its own weight. I mean, you can get slightly wider writing with it. You don't have to press very hard to do so. But I kind of expected it to be more obvious. So far I'm not noticing any of the special properties of the nib, but it writes nicely. It feels nice. The ink does dry very interestingly. When it's wet, it looks more red. And then there's some shading-ish type deal going on, where some parts look lighter than others. But overall, I kind of like the look of it. I think I'll stick with my idea of putting the brown in a jazz and then the green in a demo. I can always switch them later, but then it'll be more hassle to clean them out and switch inks. I will be doing a little bit of a writing thing here, and then ink them. Alright, after writing a little bit with both of them, I've come to the conclusion that of two things. One, I think the flex fine might be slightly too wide for my preference of writing, but I like the way it looks in writing. I like the size of the flex extra fine, which is not surprising because most of my pens at the moment are extra fine, but I don't like the way it shades with this ink. So two things. I think if I'll ink it up, I'll do so in the flex fine. But there's one more thing that I kind of want to try, which is, since I swapped out the nibs on the C4s, if they would fit in the Opus, and then otherwise, if that makes a difference at all, but ink the jazz with the green ink. So I want to try it with this demo. Putting that aside, I heard you can twist them out, so I'm just gonna grab it with a towel for some extra grip and make it less likely to damage the housing. This is what it looks like on the inside. And then this is the C4 fine nib. I have a fine and an extra fine. I know I like the extra fine. I just want to compare the housing. It's different housing. Alright, but that does not necessarily mean this does not fit, does it? It does not fit. I could pull out the feed. Are they roughly the same size? Yes. So alright, we're grabbing an eyedropper to fill this with Nos Muscata. Now this one is easier to fill because it's got a flat bottom, actually, so it stands up. Alright, just wanted to give it a good shake in case that helps with the color. Now, I heard some people say that it is very messy to do it this way. I don't really care. My hands are a little bit shaky today. Don't know why that is. I think this is gonna be plenty of ink for now, for like a first. Alright. Capping. Screwing this one in, if I can manage to do so. All the way. This is why I really wanted a colored ink. Let me see if this looks any better. Just seeing that red sloshing around, that's what makes me happy. All right, unscrewing it a little bit. A little bit more. And then it should slowly but surely fill itself with ink. I think I can already see some in there. But it's gonna take a little while to fully do that. So leaving it slightly unscrewed. And actually I'm just gonna fully unscrew it. Give it all the opportunity to do its thing. And then the other one we're gonna fill with this after I clean the nib. Right, I've cleaned it. This one is gonna be slightly harder to fill. Because I need extra hands, basically, to operate all of the pieces. I'm going to give that a little shake, unscrew the cap, there we go. I really like this green. I might just make this my green for later in the year. I currently have a theme where I pick a different green for 3 months and then use it as my supporting color for those 3 months. And then afterwards I switch to a different green. Alright, this is it with the green ink inside. It doesn't show up as much as the red does, on camera at least. But it definitely is very green in person. Also dark. It's a very dark green. There, you can see it a bit better. So I think in that sense, maybe I would have liked... that sound is so obnoxious. It's really gonna be the first thing I look up in a moment. Alright, that's very much unscrewed now. Giving it a moment. Alright, and capping it and putting it down. I think I'll look up real quick how I can fix that and then show you how I do it, if I can find it. So be right back. Alright, I found the answer. According to the internet, you should use some silicone grease, and luckily TWSBI tends to give you some when you buy one. So I'm taking out the box from a TWSBI silicone grease. There we go. Now I'm just going to unscrew these all the way. It's only really an issue on the end, I think, but we'll see if I can open this up. No, of course there's plastic on it. Take off the plastic of your silicone grease, and I believe just a little bit should do it. So seeing any difference. Oh, yeah, there definitely is some on there. Just a little bit. Certainly is not a lot that I put on there. That is so squeaky. Alright, new plan. Just putting some on the rod. Maybe it's the rod itself that's squeaking. Oh, the squeaking is gone. There we go. That's a pretty easy fix. It does seem like the rod did have some of the issue with the squeaking. So I did hear you have to look out that whatever grease you use is actually silicone grease and not something else mixed in. But if you have a Twisby, it comes with silicone grease, because Twisby kind of wants you to self-service your pens if they break, so they give you all the pieces you need to do that. And apparently a little goes a long way, but I don't know what a little is in this context. So no squeaking. It's not beautiful. Oh my god, I forgot. There's ink in my cap now. Yep, that sure is ink in my cap. That's fine. Nothing that cannot be cleaned out, but I should have paid more attention to what I was doing. This could have been very avoidable. Alright, so don't do that when it's inked up. Do it before you ink it up. Or don't hold it upside down while you mess with the rod, because that is going to be like air pressure that you're messing with. That's not completely clean. I have a similar issue with this one. Less so, but it's still very much there. So I'm going to clean this up. Alright, I've cleaned them. It took some effort, but I did. Good to know, maybe. Gods. You can unscrew the top of the cap to clean out the threads, because I got some ink inside of the threads of the demo. Of course I did. But they are now properly inked up and no longer squeaking. So now we have the... I'll write a little bit bigger. Actually, let me just zoom in. Maybe that's better. So we have the Opus88 demonstrator flex fine. Closing that up. Inked in Leonardo Nos Moscata It's quite wet writing, which is not surprising since I just had a shit ton of ink pushed through it into the cap. Alright. That's that one. I like the way it looks when it's a little bit wetter, I'll say that much. Just the way the color looks on the paper. And then we have the next one. The Opus88 Jazz Holiday Flex Extra Fine with Dominant Industry Fisherman at Sea. That's just with some very gentle pressure on the downstrokes. Oh, that was still wet. I think this is a good match for these two pens, with how I like to write and how the color ends up looking. I'm just gonna zoom you out again. I don't know, just something about this combination looks better to me than my initial plan would have, at least if the previous writing sample was any indication, because this is just, I like the color, I just don't like the way it shades. But that should not be an issue now. And these are going to be less wet the more I write with them, because now the feed is absolutely soaked in ink. But that's just when you get to unscrew the knob a little bit. And there's that. So my desk is an absolute mess right now. Not surprising at all. So before we end the video, I'm just going to put these in here so we can see what it looks like when it's closed. I think it looks nice. I also think it looks nice when they're still inside the plastic. Convenient that you can do it on both sides. I will be spending some time swatching all of my inks and putting them in here. I'm not gonna do that today, I don't think. I'm not sure if I will be filming that, because that's gonna be a whole ordeal to do. And I might stretch it out over a couple of days, or maybe I will do it per color or something like that. Yeah, that's my birthday purchases relating to all types of fountain pen, ink, and other fun little things. I hope you found this interesting. If not, you probably would have clicked out of this video a long time ago by now. But yeah, I am happy to share my excitement with you, and I hope to see you in next video. So until then, look forward to a video about my planner system, the way I'm using it early 2025 compared to last year. But besides that, just keep an eye out and see what comes up with all types of things: pens, paper, inks, and various other things that catch my eye that shall come onto the channel in the near future. I hope you have a good day or night or whatever time it is for you right now, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.